Hi, this is Box, and I'm back playing Blightfall. And I've done a lot of work since I last recorded. So this is my first base, the Alpha Dome where I started. I've planted some trees outside. Not much has changed here. I tried out this cooking for blockheads mod, but it seemed a little buggy in that it would make too much food. I've mainly been mining and building ethereal blooms. So if I look at my teleport list, I've unlocked a whole bunch of teleport destinations basically by starting from the swamp and sailing around. Sailing around seems to be the best way to get around, at least initially, because you don't have to deal with the tainted, the fibrous taint on the ground and the tainted mobs. So sailing around is pretty much the only way to get around, at least for now. When I tried to walk to the forest, for example, I died pretty much within 50 blocks. So I've pretty much sailed around the whole island and mined in a bunch of places. And I've got a whole bunch of different metals from various places, and a little loot as well from quest rewards. I found a bunch of Certus quartz and nether quartz. I pretty much have every material that I need, I think. I've mainly been doing work in the swamp, though, where I've built a small building here around my smeltery and the teleport beacon, just to keep the animals out because they were getting kind of annoying. Pretty much animals will spawn on this grass now that it's been purified, and they won't spawn anywhere else in the world because it's all tainted. So all the animals spawn here, and it can get a little annoying. So I have a basic Thaumcraft distillery set up, and I made an alchemical construct because the crucible is very inefficient and a pain in the butt to use. So I have a station here where I can basically turn milk into sano, and I basically throw away the rest of the water and the FAMS, I don't know how to pronounce it, FAMS aspect. If I put on my goggles of revealing, which I was able to make, then yeah, I can see that this bottle's full. It's a void jar, so it'll just discard the rest. And a station where I can cook other materials and distill it into a V. And so I can create the four aspects I need to make ethereal blooms from shimmerleaf now. It's a pretty manual setup, but it's working pretty well. I can make 4 shimmerleaf pretty quickly. Like I've got a stack of netherwort here, which I can distill down into a jar of magic and a jar of herba, which is required for the Ethereal Bloom formula. So if I go outside, this is basically what I've been working on. I created a netherwort farm by finding there was soul sand and netherwort on this southern island. It was very hard to get, and there's not a lot of it. So this is the largest farm I could build for now. And I set up a harvester and a planter to automate the harvesting. And I requisitioned this leadstone energy cell from Driscoll in the supplier quest line. So I requested a leadstone cell. I might request a refill. I don't know. This setup doesn't use a lot of power, which is nice. I plan to move the netherwort farm over here because I built a spot loader, which will keep this chunk loaded. So that'll be nice. so I could get nether wart farming even when I'm away. And this is basically what I've been working on the whole time. After doing all the mining, I came back and created a bunch of shimmerleaf and purified this area, which if you look on the map is not very big. I'm basically using all of my shimmerleafs to hold this area here. So I'm not sure how, and there's a tainted node here which creates taint, so I have to basically leave an Ethereal Bloom around every tainted node, just to make sure it doesn't retaint the area. And so I'm basically using all of my Ethereal Blooms to hold this area, which is very inefficient because I've got like at least, I think, 20 Ethereal Blooms here to hold this small area. There's another tainted node here. Yeah, there it is. And I'm full on those aspects. Yeah, so I did a little experiment. I think one Ethereal Bloom is enough to hold back the taint from one tainted node. I planted a silverwood tree, but it does not have a pure node in it. Therefore, it's pretty much useless to me, aside from the wood, which I already have a lot of. So yeah, I've used basically all of my Ethereal Blooms to hold this area. Now, and it's a pretty small area too. So I'm not sure, like I'm gonna have to come up with another plan to purify this whole continent. And what I'm thinking is I build, this is also a very manual process, and that I have to move the Ethereal Blooms periodically. So in my Thaumonomicon, I did a bunch of research, and I found this, I unlocked this section. Like, I built a purity focus, which is pretty cool. It purifies like a 3x3 or a block or a 3x3 area, which is very nice. Silverwood infusion is not that great. It's pretty expensive to turn an oak sapling into a silverwood sapling, but it's sort of what you would expect. Silverwood saplings are very rare. So, I mean, there's some stuff I want to build, but for now, if I look in my questing book, I mean, I need to start getting into machinery, I think. The engineer. So the black market quest line was very useful. So I suggest you do that because it's cheap and it gives you a bunch of rewards. The engineer quest line I haven't really gotten into yet, and I have to. So I found Skystone, and I got the Applied Energistics presses, which is nice. I don't have to go hunting for those. I can build these if I wanted. I've got, I mean, I cannot make reinforced glass at this point. I could make this Invar armor, but Invar is pretty rare, or the ferrous is somewhat rare. I have a boatload of iron though. So yeah, I need to get into some of the tech aspects next, I think. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to requisition. I'm very limited on power. Basically, this leadstone energy cell is the only power source I have at the moment, and you can't build standard thermal expansion dynamos. So I would have to requisition or build, I don't think I'm going to build it though, requisition a nuclear reactor from Driscoll. And I will do that eventually, maybe not at this moment. So basically my strategy for purifying the land, I think, is going to be In here there was like an airship that you could build. Arcane levitator and flying ships. There it is. So I need 6 more feather aspect in order to research that. And I think that's an Archimedes flying ship, which you can basically build ships out of any blocks you want. It's very intensive, resource intensive. You need a lot of string and wool to do it, I think. Feather. Okay, so flying ships. Oh, I need 6 motus. I used it all. Okay. And I'm doing good with Ordo at the moment. I was having trouble getting Ordo for a while. Where is it? Where is it? Flying ships. Okay, so flying ships. Yes, this is Archimedes ships. Okay, so the Jaded expects you to scout, and yet they keep all the aircraft for themselves. Hardly seems fair. Whatever. You can just make your own aircraft. The ship helm allows you to create ships. It is the core of the Archimedes ships mod. Search the internet for more information on how to use that mod. Only the recipe for the ship helm has changed. Only certain blocks will work on a ship. Most vanilla or decorative blocks will work. Most mod added blocks that have a function of some kind will not. Okay, these airships are suitable to be transportation, not mobile bases. Now what I plan to do is make a ship that has maybe some dirt on it and basically fly around with some ethereal blooms. That's a little easier than having to pick them up and move them. It will also allow me to fly above all the taint, and in fact it might let me get to some of these other places, like up here. This is a floating island. I can't get to it at this point. This is a floating island. This structure is like a floating something. I couldn't tell from the bottom. And this city is floating as well. So I think an airship is pretty much the only way to get up there. So yeah, that's one of the things that I need to do. So to make an Archimedes ship, you need the helm and a lot of air balloons, which each air balloon requires a wool and a string. So that's a lot of string. I mean, wool is fairly easy to come by because she keeps spawning. String, on the other hand, I need to craft from cotton. And I did find some mine shafts, so I could get some string there as well. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is to build a, start on the tech and go back to the swamp base. My plan is to use this loaded chunk as basically a multi-level farm. So I'm going to have one level. I'm going to move the netherwort farm here. Maybe add a couple other things because I don't have enough soul sand to fill the whole area. And build up so that I can get max use out of this one chunk. I don't have a lot of power. So I think making something like a tree farm is out of the question. Those are very power intensive because of all the leaves that it has to remove. But yeah, this has another 28 netherwort already, this has just been a fantastic farm. Yeah, so I need to build a power plant and build this multi-level farm. So I think I'm going to do that next. So I'll be back once I've got this all picked up. Alright, I'm just finishing up moving this farm into this chunk loaded area. I've decided to multiplex this one harvester and planter with multiple crops. So I've got netherwort and cotton, and I'm going to use the cotton to, yes, harvester is working good. Use the cotton to make string and wool for air balloons so I can make a flying ship. Let's see. So the last thing I need to do is turn cotton into cotton seeds and populate the rest of this field. And I'm hoping this chunk loader or this spot loader works. I have no idea. I've never used it before. We'll see. Okay, so I can leave this and I'll get tons of netherwort and cotton. Cotton, yes, good. Now, okay, good. I'll just light it up so that I actually had a creeper spawn on here, which I don't think I was able to scan it before it exploded. Okay. I'll be right back after I dump this junk. Okay, I've dumped my junk off. I need to repair my pickaxe. Now, the nice thing about Tinker's Construct is that, so I've got a mithril pickaxe that I made so that I can mine the harder materials. Now, I can just put the pickaxe in a tool station, add an ingot of the metal, and it's half repaired, add another ingot, and it's almost fully repaired. So, in my golden bag of holding, which I use to carry a bunch of random stuff around, I keep extra ingots in a tool station so that, because I found when I was out mining, my pickaxe wouldn't really last as long as I wanted to stay out. So, ooh, look at all this stuff that's grown while I was away. The chunk loader is definitely working. Not sure the harvester is working on the cotton, though. That's something I'm going to have to look into. Okay, so, and also just to show you, so I've made a focus pouch, and I'll just sort of show you the purification wand focus. It doesn't have a huge effect, but it's definitely useful for those little spots that, you know, maybe the Ethereal Bloom is taking too long to clean. So if I just go over and try this out, I can, boom, that cleans that. And if you use it on this crusted taint, it turns it into a liquid flux, which is, oh my lord, oh my lord, I don't know what that is. He's coming right at me, though. I found another one of these guys. Yeah, I hope he drops something. I found another one of these guys out by the marble shrine. What did he drop? Oh, something good, please. Oh. Jaded scout armor. Soldier helmet. Oh man, what the heck is that? I have no idea, but I was not expecting that, and crossbows served me well. Nice. Let me fill up a little. Yeah, so back to the wand focus of purification. It's pretty useful, especially for getting rid of this crusted taint. Boom. Because that stuff is a pain in the butt to dig out. And I don't know exactly what happens with this goo. It looks sort of like it evaporates. I guess I'll just leave it there. It seems to spawn slimes. Yeah, I don't know if it's going away or if it's just creating that gas. I don't know. I'll just leave it. Okay, yeah, so I made a crossbow, and the bolts aren't that great. It's just iron core with an iron tip, but it's the best range weapon I could find. I made one of those guns that he was using, and the ammo is just way too expensive because you need gunpowder, and I don't have a source of gunpowder. Yeah, so in order to This is why I also carry around iron, because the bolts can be repaired in the same way as the tools. So just add a little iron to it. I'll do it again just so I get more bolts. And that repairs the durability, which gives you back your bolts. Soldier helmet, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. Let's try it on to see what kind of it's not that much greater than my it's not better than my iron, so I'll just toss it, I think. Whatever. Right, so the next thing I'm going to be working on, I think I'll end recording now. The next thing I'm going to be working on is machines. So a power reactor so I can recharge my energy cells. And maybe some more machines like the thermal expansion machines. So I can start making some better automation, basically. So that's it for now. This has been Blightfall. Thanks for watching. Bye.